Stories of the Saints by Margaret McAllister. Padre Pio, Saint Pio of Pietrelcina. May is known by Catholics as Mary's month, and in May 1887, Francesco Forgione was born in the Italian village of Pietrelcina. All his life, he had a great love for Mary, and later became famous as Padre Pio. There seem to be some people, very few, who can see and hear things other people can't. They don't choose to be that way. They don't work at it. It's something they're simply born with. And Padre Pio was one of those rare people. From the age of 5, he experienced visions of Jesus, Mary, and angels, and heard them speak to him. But he heard and saw devils too, which were terrifying. His family were devout Catholics who attended Mass every day. Other boys played at being soldiers or explorers. Little Francesco used to play at going to church and singing hymns, and at 10 years old, he said that he wanted to be a friar with a beard. After years of study, he became a novice in an order of Capuchin friars, taking the name Pio. The plan was that he would become a priest, but it looked as if he wouldn't live long enough to be ordained. He became desperately ill, suffering terrible migraines and unable to eat or sleep. Evil spirits appeared to him and tormented him. Finally, he was sent home to the care of his family. He recovered enough to be ordained a priest in 1910, and it was about that time that he first experienced severe pain in his hands and feet. He was sent to serve at a mountain village, San Giovanni Rotondo, and soon this remote place became very popular. People who had made their confession to Padre Pio felt that he thoroughly understood them, as if he could see into their minds and hearts. And visitors journeyed long distances to make their confessions to him. The pain in his hands and feet was something he rarely mentioned, except to his own confessor. But the day came when he could no longer keep it secret. In August 1918, he saw a vision of an angel carrying a sharp lance, then felt a piercing pain in his side. 6 weeks later, while praying after Mass, he felt a sense of deep, sweet peace, broken by dazzling light and a startling vision of Jesus, whose hands and feet were bleeding. At that moment, Padre Pio's own hands and feet began to bleed. He was left with a stigmata, 5 wounds exactly the same as those of the crucified Jesus Christ. For the rest of his life, Padre Pio carried the stigmata in his hands, feet, and sides. They bled every day and never healed, but never became infected either. "Suffering is my daily bread," he once said. "I suffer when I do not suffer." He saw his pain as a gift that he could offer to God in prayer. But he was embarrassed about his wounds being visible. Humility was important to him, and he would rather have suffered in secret. "I want to be a friar who prays," he would say, or "a friar who loves." And prayer was the greatest part of his life. There are some stories of miracles associated with Padre Pio, including bilocation, which means being in two places at the same time. When praying with another friar one night, he suddenly found himself in an elegant house. The man who lived there was on his deathbed, while his wife was giving birth to a daughter. The Virgin Mary appeared to Padre Pio, telling him that one day the little girl would seek his help. Then the vision faded and Padre Pio found himself back in the chapel. 18 years later, the girl came to seek his guidance, and he became like a godfather to her. The commands of Jesus to love God and your neighbor were central in his life, as well as his life of prayer. He established a hospital, the House for the Relief of Suffering, that offered medical care as well as prayer and spiritual support. At times, the church became suspicious of Padre Pio and limited the work he was allowed to do. He accepted this with humility and patience. "Pray, wait, and don't worry," he would say. "Worrying is useless." And prayer is the best weapon we have. It is the key to the heart of God. You should speak to Jesus not only with your lips, but with your heart. The end.